Welcome back to another episode of the Unscripted Podcast. As always, I'm your host, Eduardo, and I'm here with my co-host, Edward. What is up, Edward?
Oh, Ed.
I see you a little festive for Christmas, a little early Christmas gear on. I see your hat
I mean,
with the
felt
lights on.
maybe. I mean, it felt a special occasion. We're doing this. I mean, yeah, we're not 2 weeks away from Christmas, but we're getting
Right.
there. It's still
Mhm.
technically maybe like the first or second day of Hanukkah, but maybe that's a little irrelevant. But yeah, I think this is like our first episode post some Monday Night Football. I think it's a first for us.
Yeah. Yeah, what are we in? Week 15 just ended. What is your takeaways from week 15 that it just concluded today?
Any takeaways? AFC is still pretty wide open, and I don't know about any major takeaways. I know you probably have ones. I know you probably have one you want to get into.
Yeah, for sure. Let's just jump right into it. The Kansas City Chiefs are officially eliminated from the playoffs this season. As crazy as it may sound, they have been eliminated from any playoff contention whatsoever because the Los Angeles Chargers beat them at Arrowhead 16 to 13 in a massive win for the Chargers because not only did they had to win to try to keep up with the trying to win the AFC West, but also to stay in playoff contention. And what made it even so sweeter was to eliminate the Kansas City Chiefs at their home stadium. Um,
Only, not only you got. I mean, we'll give credit where credit's due. Not only did you sweep the Kansas City Chiefs,
Sweep them. Yeah, since the last time we did it was in 2013.
you just had to take down the goat in the process. Well, the guy being compared to the goat, you just had to take down 15 in the process.
Look, this game was
Does it make it any better? Like, do you feel proud of what you did?
look, I'm sure the whole league was happy when the Kansas City Chiefs got eliminated, especially the AFC. So the Chargers basically did the AFC a favor and basically the whole NFL a favor to eliminate the Chiefs. So I'm sure, and not just I'm sure you're probably happy because you don't have to go to Arrowhead anymore or face Mahomes in the playoffs. Um, so
I
just like
mean,
any other team, it it,
I
help,
mean,
it helps out.
the whole story of their season was like, can we count them out? Or was
That was the
like
thing.
there's still part of us like we still can't count them out, but like, are they true? Is this team really 100%? Is this team really 100%? Or like, is it official? Or is the dynasty over?
Completely over. Yeah, for sure. Um, but yeah, man, it was crazy game. I think the Chargers came in there and just like try to make a statement. Obviously, you can see certain plays where the Chargers defense was really stepping up and made some huge hits and trying to make a statement where like, you know what, this is not going to be easy for you guys. We want to beat you. We want to sweep you. Obviously, uh there's two hits that come in the game where it was kind of like they were big hits with both of them were Tony Jefferson's. Obviously, the first one against Rashid Rice, where they completely annihilates him, and then obviously the second one where things gets a little offhand and he gets ejected from the game. What's your thoughts on that specific play? The one that it was like the helmet to helmet
I
on
mean,
Thorin, right? On Thorin? Yeah, it was on Thorin.
the helmet to helmet. I mean, I think it probably did warrant a flag. I don't know about an ejection, but I can see how and why the refs kind of made the decision that they made.
Hmm.
Like, pretty much as soon as they hear like the helmet hitting another helmet, obviously it probably wasn't Jefferson's intention, but the refs they just had to call what they had to call, and I think he got that was like his second penalty that led to the disqualification. Correct?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, so
And he was getting into he was getting into with some fans, um, kind of flipping the birds to them. He
yeah,
apologized, but
yeah.
I don't think.
I think that's what made them. I think that's what made the rest decide to make the decision that they made too.
Yeah,
I
and
guess
I
it falls
think
under the category of it as an obscene gesture. So
yeah, I think he's also getting fined. But I mean, he's been very key for the defense. Like I said, this defense has really stepped up. They intercepted Mahomes one time. Obviously, that was the last play. No, it wasn't the last play. I forgot which he got intercepted in, but he got sacked 5 times. Um,
I think the last play was the play where Minshew came in and
yeah,
Derwin
no, but
James
he
picked it off.
yeah, but Mahomes got picked off. I forgot who against who. But yeah, like the Chiefs really couldn't get off getting going offensively. Obviously, the defense and the Chargers were really stepping up, but not even in the run game. Pacheco, 11 carries for 21 yards. Mahomes with that one in the beginning of the first, I think it was in the first quarter where he scored that touchdown he scored
Mhm.
with that run. But like I said, Travis Kelce here and there. Rasheed Rice really couldn't get it going. Obviously with the hits that the defense was getting them, but yeah, not really offensively. And I think this has been the story of the Kansas City Chiefs that offensively they just haven't gotten going. And like you said, we expected them to eventually, it's the Chiefs, and the Chiefs will still be the Chiefs. And this is where they play their best football is in December and in January, and it just couldn't happen.
I mean, I think if you want to look at like maybe like the whole totality of the season, I think they finally kind of like found sparks in their offense once Rasheed Rice came back from suspension.
Hmm.
And obviously, I think early on in the beginning of the season, it was just like you kind of tell he was. I'll say he was probably like the missing piece in that offense for like the first 6 games, but like I think you kind of see like especially in the first 6 games of their season, you kind of see like the Chiefs are still kind of they're trying to make it work with what they have, but you can still tell like the offense was just missing something.
Hmm.
And once he came back, like now you just kind of see like the gears are kind of turning once they got Rasheed Rice back, and I feel like I think there were some moments of desperation when they couldn't really get a run game going, and obviously you saw Mahomes probably be more mobile than he has been in his whole 9 year career.
Yeah,
But
especially this season.
I think there were also times like even when you down the Chiefs, I think like when they go into like their bag of tricks, it's always kind of like 15 to 87 when they need it. But obviously, even throughout the season, you kind of saw like they still have that established chemistry, even like going back to like years and years ago. But I think there were times where like yeah, they could still make it work with 15 to 87, but like I think there were times they did it with like in like in terms of like desperation, but you can also tell like maybe that just wasn't enough.
Yeah.
And now looking at their season, you're just kind of just wondering really just what's next for them because
What's next for them next season? Because this injury with Mahomes, obviously he's torn ACL. And it didn't look good when it
mhm.
had all happened. And I think Andy Reid said, yeah, it doesn't look good.
I
And
mean
then
as I mean I hate to kind of like rain on the parade, but as we're recording this, he tore his ACL on Sunday. I believe he already had surgery not too long ago in Dallas, so
I'm sure, yeah,
I think
he's speeding it up,
yeah,
trying
I'm
to
sure
speed.
like he's definitely like gonna put in all the work to make sure like he's ready for week 1. We don't know. We're
But
not
like I said,
doctors.
yeah, it all depends on the how speedy, how fast is his recovery and everything. And I'm sure, like I said, he's a competitor and he wants to be there, especially for week one. But for Mahomes to be 100%, who knows how long it would be? Like I said, we're not doctors, but he could be ready for week one. But it all depends on how serious it was and how successful the surgery was. But I mean, like I said, it obviously this is a rivalry game and stuff, and this was a huge game. A lot of emotions happen in this game, obviously. But you don't want you don't want Mahomes or any player to get hurt or anything like that. But I mean, like I said, as a Chargers fan, and then just for over the years of the Chiefs dominant, dominating the whole NFL for the past what, like seven seasons?
Yeah,
Yeah, 7 seasons.
about about that long.
Yeah,
Because
it just felt good just to finally, just to end it like I was telling you, it's gonna end, it's gonna end, it's gonna end. Like this was the season that had to end. Like I told you, this was the season they weren't gonna win the AFC West, and it came true. And not that I didn't think they were gonna make playoffs, I always thought they were gonna make the playoffs, and somehow they were gonna figure it out, but it just didn't happen. But like I said, that leaves the question for next year. Does
yeah,
does
because
Travis Kelce come back? What does it mean with Andy Reid? Do they have a lot of older players? Like, what's next for them for next season?
I mean, yeah, the dynasty. I don't want to. That is still a pretty like tricky thing to figure out if like the dynasty is quote unquote dead. But
Or a new era, maybe a new era.
I mean, yeah. What I'm seeing is like I think they're going to have to like retool a lot of things because I know they probably have like salary cap issues, and also I think part of those salary cap issues is also Travis Kelsey's contract, and I don't know. I think he might have 1 year left, but I don't know like if it's a costly if it's a costly year that's gonna like cost him on the cap. So I don't know if he's gonna take a pay cut
Yeah, I think he has
he
one
might
year left. Yeah, I
or
think,
he
but
may or it'll be like a business decision that forces him into retirement.
or how does
So
he feel? How does his body feel? How does he feel mentally about next season? Is he willing to go through it next season, one more run? I think knowing that Travis Kelce is a competitor, I don't think he would want to go out like that. It also got to depends on if Mahomes will be ready for next season because I doubt he would want to do it without Mahomes. So
I
those are the
mean,
two
it's
things,
still
It's still early, but
it's still somewhat tricky because I think if you look at the whole totality of everything, yeah, Travis Kelsey's getting up there in age, but I think also if you look at his numbers, I think he actually is the second leading receiver amongst tight ends in the league. And he still put up, I think about I don't have the exact number. I think he had maybe 6 or 8 touchdowns this season. So
mm,
the numbers wise, it still looks like vintage Kelsey, even though he's kind of getting up there. But
yeah.
like I said, him Mahomes, like it's just like clockwork. So I know people are looking at like the last Super Bowl too. Maybe it was
Mm.
like the only reason he kind of came back because he didn't want to go out like that. And now it's probably like it's probably like the first time since like 20. It's probably like 2017. I don't know if like he's ready to adjust because the last quarterback he had before Mahomes was Alex Smith, and no, yeah, like you said, I don't know if Kelsey's willing to like maybe put in all
Mm.
that chemistry with like a new quarterback or just like a stopgap.
Yeah,
It's
mission.
still yeah, it's still a lot of TBD to be determined with
Yeah.
the
It's
Chiefs
all
right
for the off
now.
season. It's all for the
Hmm
off season. But just to end it, wrap it up. But like I said, I think the Chargers played really well. Like I said, this season is with a lot of injuries that they've had, they've overcome them and you know, I think that horrible being in there just has changed the culture for the Chargers. And like I said, you can see that he's trying to establish the run game, and they play tough. They're gritty, and I feel like this team can make a run. Obviously, they're playing really, really well right now in December, and I think this is the best time to play, start getting going, and I think they can make a run just as long as Justin Herbert stays healthy, and that O line. That's the thing right there is that O line where they got to protect them at all costs.
I mean,
But I think
the Chargers are currently sitting at 8-5 or 8-6. What's the record again?
no, they're 10-4. They're 5-0.
10.
They're under.
Oh, 10-4.
Yeah, 10-4, and they're 5-0 in the division. They have one more divisional game against the Broncos. If they lose that game, Broncos I think officially just sealed the AFC West, but they're 2 games behind the Broncos. So that game against the Broncos is very key. I think they play them the last game of the season. So they play the Cowboys, which I think the Cowboys are officially eliminated. So I feel like that's a win. Hopefully. Not
Technically, I mean, they're not officially eliminated. They have exactly a 1% chance of making the playoffs.
Yeah. Then they play the Texans, which I feel like is going to be very, very tough because the Texans are a very, very, really good team, and they just have turned it off. Actually, at the beginning of the season, were they like 0-5 or 1-5 or something like that?
I think they
Start of the
started the
season.
season. I think they started the season 0-3, I believe.
Yeah, okay. But with their defense, CJ Stroud stepping up, and then obviously the Chargers end the season with the Broncos. So those are honestly the two tough games that they have. The Texans and the Broncos are the game. The division's still up there, but I think they make the playoffs. I think with just a win against the Cowboys, hopefully they win. But we'll see, man. It's a lot of things happening there. Let's move on to another crazy game of on Sunday was the Buffalo Bills versus the New England Patriots.
Oh yeah,
This game was everything. This game, it was in New England, Foxborough, the snow, the Patriots can win the division in this game. All they had to do was win. And the
yeah. At
Buffalo
halftime, yeah, halftime, the Patriots were up 24-7, and
Twenty-four 7. Yeah,
I think
24-7.
yeah, yeah. Going into halftime, they were up 24-7,
Because at
and
one
I
point,
think
at one point it was 21-0, right?
yeah,
At one point it was 21-0, and at that point I was just like, wow, okay, the Patriots got it. Like Drake May was balling out. Obviously, he scored that touchdown, but
he had
he
two
had
touchdowns.
two rushing touchdowns, and I was like, yeah, this is the Patriots. This is the division. Either and then at halftime, I don't know if the Buffalo Bills they played Mr. Brightside or something in the locker room or something happened, but they turned it up. Josh Allen, turned it up, and he went 19 for 28, threw for 193 yards, three touchdowns. Look, these two were our MVP favorites to win the MVP right now, or one of the two, obviously with Matt Stafford being the favorite, but the Buffalo Bills stepped up in this game, in this divisional game, and just kind of put it in pause where, okay, we're still the Buffalo Bills, we still, you know, this is still our division for the winning, but they really stepped up, man. James cooked three total touchdowns or two. He had two touchdowns, 22 carries for 107 yards, two touchdowns. Um, who else scored? Dawson Knox, two touchdowns.
Yeah, James Cook had three touchdowns in
Yeah, three
total. He
total
had a
touchdowns.
receiving one.
Yeah, man. But what's your thoughts on this game?
Uh, I mean, Drake May, he's gotten that he's gotten like the whole love, like the whole Boston, New England area. They always call him Drake, Drake May, May. I think kind of like maybe like he feels. I think New England fans kind of feel like when he needs to be, he can kind of like go from Clark Kent to Superman whenever it
Yeah.
just needs to be. So, but I think I don't want to say they got spoiled or maybe they got a little too confident and felt that, oh, reigning MVP can also do that too. Josh Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah, he can also put on the Superman cape and kind of. It's not. I mean, it wasn't also just Josh Allen. I think. Yeah, Drake May.
The defense.
He had a costly interception. I think that kind of gave momentum back to the Bills as they were like more, kind of like knocking at the door.
Yeah, there was Drake May almost had this one interception from Poyer, and Poyer just dropped it. But yeah, the Buffalo Bills defense really stepped up. That Joey Bosa joining that team has really helped them, and obviously his career has, you know, obviously the way that his career was going, and then kind of this team kind of helped him back to his level, and I think he's been a key part of this defense. Obviously, with them that was there was a question of their defense. They let a lot of rushing, and the run defense is pretty bad. Obviously, Trayvon Henderson went crazy, 14 carries for 148 yards and two touchdowns.
Yeah, even
Uh,
with those two touchdowns, I think people were still thinking like the Patriots had everything in the bag.
yeah, man. But the Bills, they're still knocking on the door. That look, they have the Browns with, I mean, anything can happen in that game. It's in Cleveland. The Eagles, even though they just like, I think Eagles fans are just happy that the Eagles won. They played against the Raiders. The Raiders are just god awful. So I think
I mean,
they probably would have burned the whole city down if they would have lost against the Raiders.
that is true. I also know like Yeah, the Eagles, they were on a 3-game losing streak.
Yeah.
I know they probably looked at the Raiders as like a get right game. I know beating the Raiders isn't really much to really like sing home about. I truly did believe at least the Raiders would show at least some level of effort, at
No,
least
man. They
try,
they
at least
they
try,
I feel
at
bad. I
least
feel bad for Matt Crosby.
at least a field goal or at least a touchdown. I was not like I know they're bad, but I wasn't expecting them to pitch a shutout at
Yeah,
least.
yeah, Max Crosby got to get the gotta get the heck out of there. And yeah, I
I
think
mean,
Geno's time's out of there too. Geno's time is up there too, but we'll see what
the
happens.
way it's
But
going, I don't really know the way it's going. They can still get the number one overall pick.
yeah, man. So we'll see what happens there. The AFC North is still up for grabs. Um, all right, let's talk about one. There was a lot of good games, but let's talk about a Phillip Rivers for 40-year-old man,
44.
44 yesterday, 44. He looked pretty good, man. He looked pretty good. Look, there was a lot of concerns, and yes, they were going against Seattle's defense, and I think Seattle's defense leads the league in rushing the quarterback or something like that.
The
He
defense is not
looked,
to be slept on.
yeah, he almost won the game. He led them towards the fourth quarter, almost with the game-winning drive, field goal. At that point, they were up 16 to 15, if I'm not mistaken, with like what 50 seconds left in the game. Look, he went 18 for 27, 120 yards. He threw a touchdown, which the odds for him to throw a touchdown was plus 150. So they kind of didn't give him a chance to throw a touchdown.
mean, to any gamblers out there, technically his under did hit. So 120 yards. Yeah, that's I guess it's okay for someone coming kind of like coming back from a
Not a
5 year layoff.
not a full week of practice too. Remember, he practiced on what Tuesday or Wednesday with the team. Obviously, he knew the offense, but
Yeah, 120 yards. They were still basically from what I saw in the game. I guess they kind of were trying to like establish a run game, but I think they're
that's true.
also they couldn't really get much going on with Jonathan Taylor, 25 carries, 87 yards. So I know they'd have to be, I know they're probably going to establish a very run heavy game plan, but I knew, like, I understand it's still a work in progress. I know you said, like, he didn't really have, like, that much. He knows the offense, but, like, he didn't really have that much time to really get, like, a full week's of practice.
Yeah.
Because the one glaring thing was, like, they were kind of worse struggling to push the ball down the field. I'm not saying, like, the offense is gonna like set the. I know they're going against Seattle's defense, which is big time, but I know like I wasn't expecting like the offense to kind of like have like fireworks,
Yeah,
but
they weren't going to go have a they knew that they weren't going to have like a deep ball or anything like that. Like
like I felt
the
like
off
maybe that was like a glaring issue with the offense too, because I'm
it
not
was
saying
run
they
after the
had to push.
catch.
I'm
It
not
was a
saying they had
lot
to
of run
push.
after the catch.
Yeah, I'm not saying they had to push the ball down the field, but even when like I guess even when he was trying to push the ball down the field, it just looked like I know he's always had like that throwing motion in that arm, which has always worked for him, but like
The
it was
ball was
still
a little moving a little slow.
it still looked kind of like a challenge for him to get the ball down the field.
Yeah.
Maybe it's still Russ. I don't know, but
He looked pretty
that
decent. Like I said,
like
it could have been worse.
what
This really could have gone pretty
I mean,
bad.
I wasn't really on like the whole thing of like, oh, he's gonna get killed out there. It's like from what I saw, I was like, this is very much a man in his mid 40s playing quarterback.
Hey, but
That's how I saw it.
he probably did way better job than any quarterback, let's say they would have had starting. And he had him in the game. The honestly, man, I think Philip Rivers just being in the locker room or just having being there kind of gave a little more energy or more. I don't know. The defense played really well. The defense really stepped up because the Colts defense was struggling over these past couple of weeks. Jonathan
I
Taylor
will,
also Jonathan Taylor was
I,
also struggling too, and he was
I will
stepping up.
admit it was I will admit it was kind of cool for him to like get that first touchdown pass, you can see like it really meant so much to him. Like he was so fired up. He was just
And
going back to the sidelines. Like that that one touchdown pass definitely did something for him.
yeah, and you kind of see them kind of like how he celebrated, just like how he used to always do when he was in the league. But I was very impressed. Like I said, he threw one touchdown. His performance was very, very for a 44-year-old man that hasn't played in over 5 years. He he played pretty well against a very tough defense and in that stadium. That's one thing. That's a loud stadium. He was trying to do a hard count. It didn't work. When they were trying to go for it on fourth down, try to pull them outside, but it didn't work. But I was very impressed. They're 8-6 right now.
I mean,
We'll
yeah,
s
it wasn't really too much of a big offensive game. Sam Darnold went 22, 36, 271 yards,
That's the
still
concern.
pretty, which is still
But that,
pretty, no touchdowns, but that's still pretty impressive, even for a 18-16 final score.
yeah, but that's the concerning part with the Seattle Seahawks. Like Sam Darnold, like
I
that,
mean,
like that's the thing.
the things like what you see with their offense is like sometimes Sam Darnold, it can be like, they, I think Sam Darnold can still win them games.
Yeah,
Maybe at time, maybe at times I
yeah.
think people still kind of see the like you can probably see you'll see like Sam Darnold losing them games too. But I think also I don't want to say they got away from it, but I think Seattle's still kind of sort of struggling with kind of like establishing a running game and also like maybe
Mhm.
not necessarily a powerhouse offense, but like I think early on in the season their offense is looking now is like their defense is kind of like elevating them to like where like even if the offense has a bad day, their defense is still elevating them. So even though
Yeah.
the record's 11-3, I don't want to say there are question marks with the Seahawks. It's still like there's still something there's still something that kind of makes you scratch your head with them somewhat, but they still find a way to win games in a weird way.
Yeah. We'll see what happens with them. Let's just end it off the pod with obviously with the Monday Night Football game. Miami Dolphins versus your Pittsburgh Steelers. Tua in another cold environment game in December.
And
Uh,
I know the team got in on Saturday trying to establish that narrative like they can't play in the cold, but looks like I think it's just a Miami thing. They just do not have success in the cold.
yeah,
I think the weather was at least I think maybe like 17 degrees at the time.
yeah. Another streak going on with was it 23-0? The Coach Tomlin is undefeated in Monday night games
I mean, I don't
or
know
some
how about his record, but I
or
know
is it or
but
the
the
Steelers record. Steelers
yeah, the
record.
Steelers continue another record of 23 straight wins at home on Monday Night Football.
Yeah.
Pretty good win, a pretty good win because I've seen that stat. We are that stat about us being 111 with TJ Watt. Early in the
Yeah.
week, he kind of had like a pretty scary medical issue. He's
Hmm.
doing well. He had to recover at home. So we definitely got the win for TJ. That's why I'm wearing the jersey.
Hmm.
And I
But
know,
what do you think about this offense? Offense, they scored 28 points. Rodgers look pretty well, 23 for 27, threw for 224, two touchdowns. Um,
I mean,
yeah, they were trying
from
to
what I,
establish the run game
yeah,
with
from what I
Gainwell.
saw, the game was pretty. They played a pretty efficient game. I know they kind of. I think they did establish a run game. They took their shots. They took the shots in the air when they had to.
Mhm.
And another thing during the week, I knew. Yeah, even though he had three catches, 55 yards, and a touchdown.
Yeah.
Once again, DK Metcalf just showed off his superhuman dominance in that on that touchdown. He, as you can see from my background, stiff armed the former Steeler Minka Fitzpatrick. And I'm sorry I had to do a Minka, but yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Steph. There.
But it's all good. They took a picture at the end. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure there's still guys on the team he's still tight with.
Yeah. MVS, obviously he and Rodgers and him relationship what they had in Green Bay. That one touchdown that he had, the only catch that he had was for that touchdown, 19 yards. That I think that's also helped the Steelers offense kind of spread out the offense and trying to open it up for like a lot of players like DK, Darnell Washington, Jonnu Smith with his. Did he score a touchdown? Yeah, he
He
did,
scored a
right? Running touchdown.
scored a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, especially in the goal line. I feel like you guys tried to run the ball twice. It didn't work out, and then you guys had just a little
We
one
kind of had to
little
get we had to get
tush
Connor
push.
we had to get Connor Hayward involved. Sometimes we use him as a tight end. Sometimes we use him as a fullback. So it's really just all about moving the ball, and that's kind of what that's kind of what I saw really with the offense. The offense looked good. I don't know about like I don't know if it's like consistency or something, but I think the offense just looked the quality of the offense looked good for tonight. I don't
Yeah,
know. I know next week we got the Lions. I don't know
it's a lot of
how.
points.
I, re-
The defense.
I,
This is
re-
a game. This is a game where the defense really has to step up
I mean
just to
that.
sit
Yeah,
down.
I don't know. I really don't know exactly how that will go. The defense. I think the defense. Their game plan was pretty much. If it's gonna have to come down to like running the ball, world. I know. I know, especially from the Buffalo game, they definitely. I'm pretty sure they made that like a key of focus to pretty much not take away the run game, but maybe like lock in more on the like kind of establishing the run. I know HN he kind of had his moments, but I think the defense still had it. The defense still had to make sure like keep him out, kind of like keep an eye on him, so that they probably get like Tua to throw the ball, and that probably help them more, kind of like not necessarily shutting the Dolphins down, which they were in the first half. Then Tua,
Mm.
I guess he kind of caught a little bit of fire. He got 2 touchdowns to Darren Waller. Didn't really like that, but they were kind of garbage time touchdowns too. But the defense, they kind of had like a good pass rush against Tua too. Definitely kind of flustered him, forced him to make mistakes. He did have his stat line was 22 28, 253 yards,
Got
two
sacked four
touchdowns.
times.
Mm-hmm.
Got sacked four times. But yeah, man, you guys right now still feel like that win against the Ravens kind of helped you guys kind of establish that offense. Right now you guys are first right now in the AFC North with obviously the Bengals being eliminated. I believe so. They're officially eliminated.
And
But
this game, we just eliminated the Dolphins from playoff contention as well.
yeah, because they were right behind the Chiefs too. But yeah, you guys are 8-6. Still 3 games left. Is all up for grabs. Even though the Ravens won and beat the Bengals 24-0, if I'm not mistaken, right? They shut them off, shut them down.
Yeah, Lamar only completed, I believe, 8 passes in that game as well. Still
Yeah,
something to
so
look out for. Still
yeah,
something that
so
still needs to be talked about.
the Ravens is still up for grabs. We don't know. Like I said, you guys are it's a must win for you guys to in Detroit, but you know, we'll see what happens in that game. But yeah, man, that's to wrap up week 15 in the NFL. A lot of can't believe through we're almost in playoffs, man. It's crazy how it is that we were just in September now. We're in December with playoff football coming up. But yeah, man, a lot of crazy things
I
has
mean,
happened.
since it's Monday night, saw a little saw number eight's interview with Sutcliffe. He asked him if he had any tequila, so maybe good way to celebrate. Good way to
Yeah,
celebrate this win.
yeah. Let's also talk about a lot of ACLs hurt. Like we talked about Mahomes, and that Michael Parsons injury. That's unfortunate. I think, and that leaves the question for the Packers. Like even though they lost against the Broncos, and I feel like that was a must win for the Packers to try to be first in that division. Um, I don't know, man. I think Michael Parsons not being there, I think it might mess up their chances of trying to get to the Super Bowl.
I mean, he
Jordan
was
Love's been playing well.
the thing with like that defense, like they're good, but I think Michael Parsons was like that elevator on the
Yeah,
defense. Because once he got traded to the Packers, I think people felt like, oh, and like once they saw him in action, they felt like, oh, this is a Super Bowl caliber defense. But the Packers, their offense was looking pretty. They kept up with the Broncos during the game, but I think maybe like if you're looking at like the long term, especially in the stretch of the playoffs, now we're kind of figuring out. Now we're kind of wondering is like, is this Packer team going to be successful with how far Jordan Love takes them, or will the
Yeah.
defense have to like respond to the adversity of losing their star pass rusher?
Yeah. And who knows if he'll be ready? Like I said, same thing from Mahomes. Who knows if he'll be ready for next season or what time would they have him ready in next season? But yeah, that's unfortunate for Packers and Packers fans out there because they traded for him, and this was supposed to be their year, and it hasn't looked around. Like I said, Jordan Love has been playing really well these couple of weeks, even though they lost against the Broncos. But yeah, man, any last words before we end this pod? I mean, we could talk about this. It is sports.
And I think I know what you're about to get into.
Yeah, I mean
Uh,
it is sport, right? For those who listen to this pod, I know whoever's are wrestling fans, John Cena's last match was on Saturday. The GOAT in some people's eyes. Um, but yeah, man, his last match was on Saturday, and for those who tuned in, uh, it was a lot of a lot of noise. Me personally, obviously, I am a John Cena fan. I grew up John Cena fan. Um, I didn't like the way it ended, man. I didn't like John Cena. Obviously, I knew that Gunther was gonna win, and I had a feeling that he was gonna be his last opponent before his retirement tournament, everything that
look,
happened. It just
look,
I just didn't like the way that, and you can see it in the stand in the arena. Like people
look.
are mad.
Whatever level of wrestling fan you are, diehard, casual, just getting into it, watching that match, you just knew some. It just left a bad taste in your mouth. I think what really bothered me was just like the whole hype going into it, and then like,
It
bro,
was a good match though.
like it's just like the whole hype going into it. It's like, bro, that was it. Like,
I know, and it was a good match because there were some parts where Gunther was had him in that trying to get him tap out, and then that's when you had that Super Cena moment where Cena was fighting it and fighting it, and obviously he was like the ref was putting his hands down. Once he hit two hands down, then once that third one, Cena hold on. But I mean, just the way that
look,
Cena,
like those who have followed John Cena throughout his career, Mister Never Give Up, Hustle, Loyalty, Respect.
that's the part where it's just like
Look, like it kind of bothers you because like we were expecting more, but also at the same time, it's just like it really, it really kind of I don't want to say it hurt you, but like it kind of it really just hurts watching like Mister Never Give Up kind of mail it in the match.
yeah.
Like
I mean, he's just like you can see like he smiles and just taps out the way he tapped out. But I mean, look, I think people gotta understand. Which, yes, I was upset the way it ended, but I think I also I knew and understood like this is what John Cena wanted. He wanted to put over Gunther, um, but I feel like they could have done it a little way. And I think
you kind of not just in the match, but I think also in like just like his whole
everything, yeah, like
his
the
whole
way.
tribute, like you felt like they could have done more.
I feel like a lot of things could have happened more. I feel like people the old wrestlers that he was a part of like could have been in this tribute video. I feel like people could have
Like
came
if
up
you're
and gave
gonna
a speech or John could have gave a speech or something. It just like it was just so quiet. Obviously, Cody
and
Rhodes
also
and CM
it's
Punk gave
just
him his titles.
like respectfully, Cody Rhodes winning at WrestleMania that definitely brought more of emotion to you, even as like a diehard or even just a casual. But like if you're gonna celebrate one of the greatest of all time in this industry, you would think it would
He was on top.
you
People gotta understand he was on top for 20 plus years.
like you would think like there'd be more of like a celebration of this, and I'm sure it was during like the whole tour and everything. But like
Yeah.
it's just that you know how wrestling fans are, but I think this is like the one moment where like actual anger is kind of justified
Yeah, I mean,
in this particular. in
Yeah,
this particular way.
and I also think like it ruined it because it's just like I understood the fans that were there, frustration, the way to end it. Obviously, Triple H was coming down and they were booing him, and even the post
Rightfully so.
even the post interviews outside the Capital One Arena, they were booing him. I just feel like it kind of ruined the whole moment. Obviously, the tribute video and stuff. Triple H was smiling, and he kind of he knew what was gonna happen, the type of reaction. But I feel like we all should have known like he would have John Cena was
But
gonna lose this match. But I feel like they could have done a little bit better with
look,
him losing.
we're
It
old
was
enough.
tough.
Look, we're old enough to like remember what the WWE was and what it is now. But I think maybe this might have been like I think this is like the first time like actual longtime fans like what the WWE is now. This is like we're kind of tired of like the watered down bullshit. This is just a slap in the face, bro.
Yeah, man. But this is they could have done it way better. They could have done better with the greatest of all time to ever do it. Like I said, he was on top for 20 plus years, and he's an icon, literally an icon, like everywhere. He hip hop culture, just everything in general. He was an icon. He was probably the biggest star in WWE, and he's retired. And until even though he's retired, people still gonna remember him. But it's unfortunate for him that it's unfortunate for fans and that it ended like that. But we'll see what life is without John Cena and the WWE. He's an ambassador, but outside the ring, in the ring, he's retired. But till then, we'll be back with another episode. Peace.
The Steelers, I'm still bothered by the John Cena thing, but
All right.